already begun. Desensitizing the very thing or thing that brought you in.
Seek TV. I'm about to get ready to elaborate a little more on the situation on your boy Dante Wright. Like I said, this whole theme of how all of this stuff is just deep, man. I'm gonna really delve further into this. And what I want to talk about right quick is, Dante Wright obviously is from Chicago, aka the Windy City. And what I want to elaborate on is how it was another situation like a month ago. I broke this down not like I think when it first happened like a month ago. And what I want to talk about is the situation. Start it over. Start it over. Yeah, please. Welcome to Hide and Seek TV. I'm about to get ready to do a very deep breakdown on the Dante Wright situation that's going on right now, and I'm going to be connecting some more dots. And I have other videos on this. Just check out my channel. But what I want to talk about, you already know Dante Wright obviously was in Minneapolis area, like George Floyd. But Dante Wright is from the Chi, aka the Windy City, Chicago. And what I want to talk about is about a month ago. I had did a breakdown on this about a situation that happened out in Colorado. And what I want to talk about is the lady name is Mary's Harold, right? And she was a 26-year veteran for Cincinnati. Okay. And what I want to delve into is the same thing right now. The lady who killed Dante Wright, she's a 26-year veteran. You see what I'm saying out there? I think in the Minneapolis area. So what I want to talk about is this is so deep. Notice the number 26, and I'm gonna delve deep into this because when you understand the number 26, let me get into this right quick. When you understand the Roman Empire on the Nebuchadnezzar statue, which is all about like the whole aspect of the kingdoms who oppress the righteous people of the Most High and oppress the Messiah. When you understand the Roman Empire, there the leg aspect of the statue is the Roman Empire, aka the red dragon, the iron. And what I want to talk about right quick is, like I said, how they both have the 26, year veteran aspect. And when you understand that too, the iron atomic number is 26. And when you go into Psalms 2:6, because I'm about to go real deep into this, yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion, right? And I'm gonna delve into that because when you go into Psalms 2:9, it says, "Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron; thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel." Now, when you understand that, that's the whole aspect of the Messiah coming into rulership. This is all a prophecy because you hear how I talk about the potter, and you see how you have Kim Potter is the one who killed Dante Wright. You feel where I'm going with this? You remember how she said that she tried to use a gun, but I mean she thought she had a taser, but it was a gun instead. Notice the gunfire aspect because we know a taser obviously uses what? Electric bolts. And when you understand the aspect of the Messiah, what does it say? The Son of Man cometh out as lightning out of the east and shineth unto the west. So shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Do you feel where I'm going? So I'm gonna delve deep into this because remember I was talking about the whole aspect of the Nebuchadnezzar statue representing the iron and clay on the legs and feet, representing nothing but like the Holy Roman Empire and the Roman Empire. And when you understand how her name is Kim Potter, all Potter literally means is like the maker of clay and metal. And what I want to delve into as well is the lady out there in the Colorado situation, because I'm gonna get deep on that. But her name, like I said, is Mary's Herald. And all Mary's means is out of the sea. Do you feel where I'm going with this? The name Mary literally means nothing but out of the sea. And when you understand that, like I was just talking about the aspect of the Nebuchadnezzar statue representing the dragon, aka the beast. And when you understand this too, going into Revelation 13, like I said, Mary's herald, her name Mary's, literally means nothing but out of the sea, as is written in Revelation 13. And I saw the beast rise up out of the sea. You feel what I'm saying? Because having the names of blasphemy on his crown, because all that represents is nothing but the aspect of the one world order coming into fruition. And when you know about the man that died over there in Colorado, his name was Eric Talley. And the name Eric literally don't mean nothing but eternity. Dante mean lasting and enduring. And his last name Wright don't mean nothing but son of the carpenter. Do you feel where I'm going with this? And what I want to delve into, because you already know the Messiah is the carpenter, and like I said, the guy in Colorado name was Eric Talley. His name is Eric, which means like everlasting and eternity. And notice how Dante names mean lasting and enduring, to practically make it to eternity, make it to the heavenly kingdom. And like I said, Eric Talley, the name Tally is like practically like score on the board, like tally mark, because you'll know about like the first coming, then the second coming, and the final coming. You feel what I'm saying? The whole aspect of that. You feel where I'm going with this? And what I want to delve into is what I noticed is how Mary's Herald, she was, like I said, out in Cincinnati. And to prove my point, it was the Roman emperor back in the old days. He actually had got beheaded by Mark Antony. But the Roman emperor, his name was Cincinnatus. And he was the one who was practically doing nothing but like violence against those who didn't want to submit to the code of enforced laws. Notice why they're all cops dealing with this situation. Do you feel where I'm going with this? Because everything is literally coming all into fruition. And what I want to talk about too, right quick, and delve deep on this, I'm gonna keep this thing flowing. What they said about what's his name, Eric Talley, they said that he was a prankster and had a great sense of humor. He was a jokester, right? And what I want to talk about too, Dante Wright, they said was a jokester. Now, what I want to delve into on this aspect, which literally blew my mind as I was just sitting back, really connecting dots on this. When you go into the scriptures, you would know, like you remember during the time of Sarah and Abraham. Remember how Sarah and Abraham, they didn't have a child, and the Most High promised Isaac. And remember, once Isaac came forth, you remember Isaac's name meant nothing but to make you laugh. Notice how they say Eric and Dante both are jokesters, and make you laugh. And what that represents is the whole aspect of Isaac. When you understand the whole aspect of the sacrificial ram, you know what I mean by this? And it's representing nothing but like the promise, the promised son. But when you know about the whole aspect, like not like I'm just using this thing because out of Isaac comes what? Israel. You feel what I'm saying? And out of Israel comes what? The Messiah roots through what? The royal bloodline of David, King David. Do you feel where I'm going with this? And this stuff is literally that deep, because when you understand the whole aspect of that, it literally blew my mind, because was not the Messiah the lamb sacrifice? Do you feel where I'm taking this in the sense of the laughter? That's where I'm just connecting that, like in the sense of the laughter. Don't go and take it in a way I'm trying to say the Messiah is Isaac or none of that. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like the aspect of them being a jokester, and it's showing that the Messiah is near. Do you feel where I'm going? And when you understand Proverbs 125 through 127, what did he say? The Most High say, you have not practically like taken awareness of his counsel and none of his reproof. Therefore he will laugh at your calamity and I will mock you when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. Do you see what I'm saying? All of that, the aspect of you laughing, and how you're mocking the Most High, an aspect, he will laugh at you in your time of calamity. And what I want to delve into, because obviously, like I've been talking about this, about the whirlwind. You feel where I'm going? This is why they had to say, okay, Dante Wright, they had to use someone from Chicago, aka the Windy City. Let's keep this thing flowing. This whole scene from the Busta Rhymes Czar video for a while, because all the czars somebody coming to replace and coming into power. Remember I said Mary's Herald, her name don't mean nothing but out of the sea. Pay attention to this, representing the beast coming out of the sea to bring forth one world order. Let's keep this thing flowing. The beast coming out of the sea. And you see how he just was doing the whole look at this. You see how he was doing the Illuminati pyramid? Let's keep it flowing. The lightning. Take chains off! Take your chains off. They want to take the royalty away from the Messiah, because he's coming to take away their kingdom to establish what? The New Jerusalem. Let's keep it flowing. Look at this. You see how he wanted to take the chains off so he can get to the guts, because all that represents is nothing but the aspect of the sacrificial ram. Remember, I was talking about the aspect of the laughter, how they said that he was a joke, how they said both of the guys, Dante and Eric, both were jokesters. And you remember how that represent, like how I was talking about how the Most High said that Isaac mean nothing but to make Sarah laugh and have joy, because that aspect, remember Abraham was about to sacrifice Isaac, but the Most High showed the sacrificial ram. You feel where I'm going with this? This stuff is all in our face, because when you use that aspect, you remember the Messiah was a lamb sacrifice. You feel what I'm saying? And what's so deep about that? And down the line, he becomes what? The royal king, the promised king. You know what I'm saying? This stuff is just is that deep. And I'm gonna keep this thing flowing some more, because what I want to talk about too is how Daunte Wright, remember how they said that he died on 63rd Avenue, right? Let me show y'all something right quick, and it's deep because everything comes together. Now you know what they said too is that Eric, remember how they said that he practically saved like 11 ducklings and their mother to safety back in like 2013, right? Now what got me on that is how they said about the duck. Now you notice Dante Wright died on 63rd Avenue. Understand that I'm talking about the duck aspect. Notice how 63rd Avenue FBG Duck from Chicago, just like Dante Wright, dies. You know, I remember how the whole situation, how he had the situation with Vaughn and everything, etc. I ain't gonna dwell into that, but I'm just connecting these dots. And another thing I want to talk about too is how they said that Mary's Herald said that, Eric Talley taught his family CPR, and he saved someone practically. His fathers taught him how to save another child who was choking on a quarter, she said. Come on. And what about the whole aspect of the choking on a quarter? What about the whole aspect of George Floyd? I can't breathe out there in Minnesota as well. Look how all of this stuff comes together, man. And what I want to talk about too, when you understand how Satan, as it's written, Satan is the prince of air. You feel what I'm saying? I've been breaking this down already, but Satan is the prince of air. Now, what I want to talk about too is how around the time about this game going down, before the whole situation went down out there in Colorado, you had Chicago versus Denver. Remember that the Chicago Bulls played against Denver Nuggets. You feel what I'm saying? Come on, man. This stuff all comes together. There's no way around it. And notice how the whole situation anyway happened out there at a store. And notice how George Floyd obviously was in a store. Come on, man. And let's keep this thing flowing some more. I'm actually going to use a movie where I'm going to explain this a little further on my whole aspect of the Messiah aspect. Because when they talk about the stores, all the stores represents is nothing but like fruits of flesh, fruits of spirit. But I'm going to delve into that. Let's play the clip and chime on it. It's a movie called Lakeview Terrace. Hint the aspect of Lakeview, a.k.a. the Crystal Lakes of what? Territory of what? Of heaven. Let's keep it flowing.
Oh, so you're not an expert. I mean, you work for like a grocery store chain or something like that, right?
Nah, Samuel Jackson on this movie, his name is Abel. Now you already know about how Abel was what he worked the fruits of the spirit. Remember Cain and Abel. Abel had the sacrifice of the fruits and spirit. Now, when you understand the Messiah, remember the blood sacrifice aspect, like of sacrificing the animals, died when he became the sacrificial lamb. That all died with him. Now, the aspect of you sacrifice through prayers and believing in the name. You feel what I'm saying? Now, the guy who he was talking to, his name is Chris, which is short for what? Christ, aka anointing, the anointed one.
Yeah, with a pretty strong environmental agenda.
Listen to that.
Whoa, time out, debate over. I don't even know what that means.
Listen to this. Let's keep this thing flowing, y'all. Pay attention to this. Now, the girl he's talking to, her name is Eden. You feel what I'm saying? Because you already know that Eden was where, like in the east of the earth. You feel what I'm saying? And when you understand that whole aspect, you know how they use the Asian girl to be Eden because of what? You know about how the Asia is in the eastern hemisphere of the world. Let's keep it rolling.
I'm sorry, Miss
Eden.
Eden. Well, Eden, when you're getting jacked outside your loft and W here doesn't have the energy to stop it, We'll see about sending the nice police over to help you.
You hear how he said that? He was saying, Abel said that I won't help you, Eden, when you're getting practically like violated and everything, because that represented the fall of man, aka the sense of Adam and Eden. You feel what I'm saying? The aspect of sin. But I want to keep this thing flowing because I want to use that as an example, because all of this stuff all comes together. Because remember, when I was talking about how the iron, remember how I said Kim Potter, how Potter don't mean nothing but the one who created the clay and iron, and how Maris Harrow represent not her name represents nothing but the beast out the sea, aka the dragon, aka the iron and clay, one world order. That's all it represents. Everything becoming one world order. Now, what I want to talk about too in this aspect is how it was the player right before, because what happened was out in Atlanta, let me get to that first. Out in Atlanta, remember I was reading Psalms 2:9 or 2:6. Remember how I said, have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion? Now, what I want to talk about on that aspect is, how King James, LeBron James, was playing against Atlanta Hawks. And you notice the player that injured him by mistake, with the ankle aspect, the player who injured him name is what? Solomon Hill. Now, when you understand the whole aspect of David, you already know Solomon is David's son. And you remember through Solomon, the kingdom, the south and northern kingdom of Israel has split. So when you understand the aspect of that, what is the Messiah? He came to not graft, but he came to bring graft back in those who went away from the covenant, the Israel who went away from the covenant, and he came to bring everything into back where Israel becomes one again, and the nations cleave, and everyone, be in harmony with the Most High in the kingdom. But when you understand that, this is so deep because the ankle injury, hint, that represents nothing but the divided kingdoms, the iron and clay coming together as a one world order. You feel what I'm saying? The Holy Rome. That's all it represents. And notice why LeBron James had the ankle injury, and then Jamal Murray, who played for Denver, had what? He had the leg injury. He tore his ACL. You know what I'm saying? This all happened right around the time of Atlanta losing, because of the voting rights. They talking about like with the voting restriction laws, they moved the game, the Major League Baseball game from Atlanta to Denver. You see where I'm going with this? Because remember I was already talking about the whole aspect of how Dante Wright is from the Windy City. And when you understand that too, the George Floyd, I Can't Breathe. And when you understand the whole aspect of Denver, Denver is the Mile High City. And when you look at that, that represents like the city of the high mountain. You feel what I'm saying? AKA the pyramid. Like you connect the dots like this. And then when you look at it too, going back before that, Atlanta, remember Atlanta had hosted the All-Star game for the NBA. You see where I'm going with this? This stuff is literally all in our face because what did they say? About the aspect of the all-star game. And when you understand the aspect of the stars, this is written in Revelation 6:13, and the stars of heaven fell upon the earth, even as a fig tree cast her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. Hint the whole aspect of the mighty wind. What is that? Because like I said, Dante Wright is from where? He's from the Windy City, Chicago. Come on, man. It's all in our face. It's all about who has the eye to see and the ears to hear. Let's keep this thing flowing just a little bit longer. They said that Eric Talley has a 7-year-old son that he left behind. One of his sons. I think he left behind 7 children, and his youngest is 7 years old. Hint the 7-7. You get where I'm going with this. And then notice Dante Wright left behind his son. Come on, man. It's no way around this, y'all. But I'm actually going to end it right here. Thank you for watching Hide and Seek TV. Much more is coming. Peace.